Let's see how you do under pressure. Oh, yeah, I've been wanting this forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay, hey, yeah, ain't no errors, baby, it's a new era. I wake up early, feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Fuck with me, you know that.
Yo, yo, yo! What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode podcast to talk about our favorite team, the Arizona Cardinals. Huge shout out to the people that are currently in the chat. We got Joey, we got Martin, we got Uncanny, we got Julio, Juan. What's up, y'all? Appreciate you guys for being here in the chat. Do me a huge favor, smack up the like button here on your way in. Subscribe to the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. We are on the road to 19K. What a crazy world we're living in right now, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you guys for the support. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Today, we're going to be talking about the big breaking news that just dropped in the world of the NFL. And you all most likely already heard it. But ring the bell. Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. The first domino of the head coaching carousel has now officially dropped. Now, if you're asking yourself, why are we talking about this? Jonathan Gannon didn't get fired. Well, this is one of the this is a season that's not shaking out on the way Cardinal fans anticipated. Do I think Jonathan Gannon is going to get fired? Well, I mean, we'll get to that here in a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and talk about the news, ladies and gentlemen. And that is that Brian Callahan. Now, I want to be very clear. This is the same guy that the Arizona Cardinals lost to. Good God. But here we go. Adam Schefter and every other reporter out there ended up coming out with this report out there already, and it says that Brian Callahan's tenure ends with a 4-19 record. He becomes the first NFL coach fired this season. Yikes, oh, yikes, oh, yikes. Now, he potentially could have and probably should have gotten fired last week, but we saved him a little bit of grace, being the fact that the Arizona Cardinals ended up losing to him and the Tennessee Titans. That game shouldn't have turned out the way that it did. The Cardinals should have been at least 3-3 on the season, but that's the fickle part of this league, right? It's just, it's so unforgiving. You cannot lay down and expect these things to come to you. You got to fight for them. That's why week in and week out, you never know what's going to happen in the NFL. But here is the big kicker. Here's the big question mark out there. Is Jonathan Gannon next? I got a poll question for you guys to go ahead and cast your vote. Right now, we got 48 votes on the YouTube side right now. My question to you is plain and simple. Is Jonathan Gannon the next head coach to get fired? We got 49 votes right now, and it was 50% until somebody swayed it on over to the other side, but it's as close as it gets when it comes down to 50-50. There is a lot of people that are saying that Jonathan Gannon potentially can be the next head coach on the chopping block. Now, when is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Is it Drew Petzing first? There's a lot of question marks out there about this Arizona Cardinals organization, and we should not have been dealing with this in year 3 of a rebuild, because as of right now, the rebuild has failed. I'm being real. I know we have 10 plus more games, ladies and gentlemen, but this is as dead and lifeless as a fan base I think I've seen in a very long time, and you don't really get that in year 3 of a coaching staff. I don't think Jonathan Gannon is a long-term solution. I really don't. I really do like Jonathan Gannon. That's the worst part of this whole situation. I like him as a head coach. I like him as a person, but when SHIT hits the fan, I don't know if he's going to be able to fix this issues that's glaring that might be bigger than him, right? And that's what we're going to be diving into as well. So what I'll say right now is kudos to the Tennessee Titans for pulling the plug. Sometimes you have organizations that stay too long with the head coach because they really do believe in building blocks. They believe in year in progress. Now, of course, Brian Callahan didn't have more than 2 years. He was a head coach for less than a year and a half. I think he was 4-19, if I can remember this record correctly. So kudos, man. Kudos to the Tennessee Titans for pulling the plug. They knew he wasn't the answer. They got a rookie quarterback over there in Cameron Ward. So they're really going to have to figure out how to get a damn win under their belt. Now, the Cardinals lost that game versus the Tennessee Titans. They didn't beat us. We beat ourselves. It was in a fortunate circumstance of events. We should have at least been 3-3 on the season. We should have at least been 3-3. Now, that's not the way it is. We're 2-4 right now heading into week 7, and there's not a lot of confidence. There's not a lot of confidence, but I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real. What we see in this offense in this weekend was the most proud I have been as an Arizona Cardinal fan, because this was the most exciting passing attack I've seen in a very long time. And I'm taking this back to Cliff Kingsbury days as well. Like, this is the most exciting offense I've seen. I'm talking about, we converted 3rd and 17, 3rd and 15, and it wasn't a draw play. It wasn't a run or anything like that. We were playing to win that game. Unfortunately, at the end of the drive, we got a little too ahead of ourselves, and for some reason, we didn't decide to run the ball at least a couple times for them to use their timeouts. But I digress. The Cardinals right now are 2-4. Enough of the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. The Cardinals are who they are. They dug themselves into a hole, and now they got to get themselves out. So continue, ladies and gentlemen, to cast your vote here right now if you think that Jonathan Gannon is the next head coach to get the axe in the NFL season. The schedule for the Cardinals isn't going to be easy. And here's the thing. They still very well might be playing as close of games as we've seen, right? So, like, I don't think any of these teams are going to blow us out. Like, I'm going to be real. Like, the Packers, I feel like we're going to stand toe-to-toe with them. Nobody thought we were going to stand toe-to-toe with the Colts, right? And it came down to that last drive. Ain't nobody believed in the Arizona Cardinals to do that, and they did it. I do believe we have the defense to win more games than we are looking here. It's just that the inefficiencies of the offense has kind of been holding us back, and a lot of little things that you don't really see happening in games for professional football teams, just to the Cardinals. But, a lot of those things hold us back as well, right? Drops, boneheaded mistakes, dropping the ball before the end zone, those type of things, right? So we got the Green Bay Packers this coming week, and then we got the Dallas Cowboys after our bye week, which then is going to be turning into the trade deadline, which big question out there is, are the Arizona Cardinals going to be sellers at the trade deadline, right? Well, hearing what Jonathan Gannon is saying, it seems like he believes this is a resilient bunch. He does believe in the people in the locker room, which is good, right? That's coach talk. That you don't want to hear him sound down. You don't want the players in the locker room to know that your head coach is out on you guys. But believe it or not, right now we have this coaching staff fighting for their jobs, fighting for their careers. This is year 3 in a rebuild that has not worked out to the favor of the Cardinals. And is Jonathan Gannon next? Well, if the losing continues to happen, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised that if it happens maybe midway through the season. If not midway through the season, then probably at the end. Because let's be real. Before it got really, really ugly with Cliff Kingsbury, the Cardinals decided to roll out with Cliff, and they didn't do anything till the end of the season. Now, what's the right way? I mean, there's really no right way. It depends on what the owner wants, what the general manager, what the front office or the people upstairs want at the end of the day. What kind of look are you looking to perceive to the NFL, right? An organization that pulls the plug, aka too quickly. But this isn't too quickly. This is already year 3. So this is going to be a very fascinating story to follow here. If the Cardinals continue to lose these games, do the Cardinals pull the plug? Because let's be real, it's not like the Cardinals are getting blown out. The Cardinals are staying within these games, and this can very well be decision makings from the head coach or from the offensive coordinator or the defensive coordinator to make an adjustment in order for us to close out games. We're not getting blown out. The closest game that we got aka blown out to was probably that Seahawks game, and then the Cardinals ended up coming back in that second half. But that game was horrendous for the Cardinals, that Seahawks game in the first half. Second half, they came back, so you got to give kudos. But the Cardinals are in these games. They really are. They're a decision or two away from potentially being 3-3 or 4-2 and staying within the NFC West race. But right now, it seems like it's a very, very top-heavy NFC West race, and the Cardinals are nowhere near there. They're not, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say. Like, the Seahawks are rolling with Sam Darnold and Mac Jones for the 49ers, and then you got Sam Darnold, the best quarterback in all the NFC West, right? And then you got Kyler Murray. A lot of question marks out there, right? So it's unfortunate that we're here. It really is. It's very, very unfortunate that we're here as a fan base, but I don't know what to say. I really don't. Like, there's really nothing I can say that will make anybody feel better. But all I can say is that we're here, right? We're a 2-4 team. We're a 2-4 team, and that's what it is. I want to go ahead and shine some light real quick to something that I want to talk about here. And it's going to be talking a little bit about Colts versus Cardinals, because I think it's going to be something that obviously, you know, we should be proud of, right? Now, that's moral victory talk, right? Obviously, we should also be bummed out that we're 2-4. But what you saw from Jacoby Brissett is definitely should be something you should be proud of, right? Now, I have a question for you guys. Quarterback controversy, right? Is this something that we're going to have Cardinal fans talking at the bye week? I'm pretty certain 65%, maybe even 70% that Jacoby Brissett might be playing in week 7. Now, I know I've heard some people saying I want to see a bigger sample size of what Jacoby Brissett can potentially do in this offense. Okay, that's fine. I'll give you that. But do you think we're really truly going to have a quarterback controversy in our hand? Or do you think what Jonathan Gannon ended up saying post-game, he really truly means it, right? Like, and what he said was that when Kyler Murray is healthy, he is QB1 for this Arizona Cardinals offense. Like, what do you think about that whole situation? Now, you can look at it in multiple different directions. We've heard Jonathan Gannon in the heat of the moment in post-game, interviews say some things that you're just like, what's going on? Like, what's happening? So maybe he was caught up in the moment saying that, yeah, he's QB1, but I'm going to be real with you guys. I said this multiple times in my video, and I truly do believe it. What we saw in week 6 versus the Colts was the best offense I've seen all damn year long. And that's without a fully healthy Marvin Harrison Jr. all game. That's without a James Conner. And that's without a Trey Benson. This is the most efficient passing attack / offense. And I know the run game ain't there, but we're not talking about the run game right now because obviously the passing game was so leaps and bounds, really, really good. This was one of the best I've ever seen in a very, very, very long time. And that might offend some people. And that's okay. I'm okay with it. Because truthfully, I think right now we are at a crossroads when it comes down to our quarterback 1 in Kyler Murray. The big question out there is Kyler Murray the problem, right? So many people out there have been saying, Drew Petzing, you fire him, you fix this offense. That's what's going to happen. But I've been saying this from the beginning of the season. What happens when you fire Drew Petzing and you don't have an alternate and you get a guy to run his same scheme and the same result happens because you have a quarterback that refuses to take a hit? You have a quarterback that refuses to stay in the pocket and stay poised in the pocket and stand on his 10 toes. And if he needs to take a hit, sometimes he might need to take a hit. You have a quarterback that refuses to do that, to play within this scheme, to get these wide receivers a second or two longer to come open. And instead, he flees the moment that there is some sort of pressure. Well, guess what? Playing the quarterback role isn't rainbows and sunshines. It's a tough, nasty place. And yes, I'm quoting Rocky right now. It's a tough business. It really is. And sometimes you might need to take a damn hit. If Kyler Murray is going to continue to be QB1 for this organization, we need him to fix what he can't do. And I don't know. We're already in year 7 and we haven't seen it. What's going to change now? I don't know. But I've seen Jacoby Brissett with 1 week of preparation. And now, yes, he already knows the Drew Petzing's offense already. Now, that doesn't really mean too much because obviously there's a lot of factors that happen on Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. You could know a playbook, but still feel a crazy amount of pressure and still fold. Jacoby Brissett did not fold under pressure. This man was hounded. He was hit. Multiple times he was on the ground and grimacing in pain coming back up. But guess what? He stood there, 10 toes down, and he was delivering the ball to who? Zay Jones. To who? Michael Wilson. To who? Greg Dortch, Elijah Higgins, Trey McBride. We didn't have the privilege of having MHJ out there. We didn't have the privilege out there of having Trey Benson or James Conner. What we saw with Jacoby Brissett was downright impressive. Downright impressive. And I don't want anybody to take it away from him. He did really well. Now, what's going to happen if he gets another opportunity versus a probably better defense in the Packers? Well, we're going to have to kind of wait and see, right? Every single game plan is going to be different. Whenever you play a certain team that's better on defense, a certain team that's weakness is up the middle of the field, it's going to be a different game plan every single time. But with what we've seen from Jacoby Brissett, there is at least a question mark out there to potentially say, hey, maybe we should at least talk about it, right? Jonathan Gannon coming out and saying straight up that Kyler Murray, the starting quarterback of this team, when he's healthy, I don't blame him for saying it. I really don't. Because when you think about it, you're paying Kyler Murray $45 plus million. You've already deemed him as the face franchise quarterback of this team. It's already been deemed. You're the franchise quarterback of this team. $45 plus million to a guy that had 1 week of preparation getting paid a fraction of what he's getting paid, $8-9 million in a year, and has proven that this offense can work. This offense can work. The Drew Petzing's offense can work. Does Drew Petzing still kind of irritate me a little bit? Of course he does. But that's been something that's irritating me all year long. I never ever once said that the scheme can't work. I never ever once said that this offense can't work in the NFL. The problem that I had with Drew Petzing was situational play calling. And it still kind of irked me a little bit when we didn't decide to run the ball to have them waste a couple timeouts and give them a different look. We were playing shotgun. You could have potentially ripped one for 3 or 4 yards, forced them to get a timeout, right? And then mix it up. I think they knew we were going to throw. So it made it easier for them to defend against the Cardinals. Now, yes, we probably should have got a penalty flag at the end, but shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Shoulda, coulda, woulda. But that is the number one thing that irks me about Petzing. Not a scheme, play calling, yes, but it's more of the situational play calling. That's what irks me a little bit more. But honestly, I don't, and I've said this before, I probably maybe one of the first ones to say this. I don't think this coaching staff truly believes in Kyler. I don't think they believe that his ability to stay in the pocket, to not turn over the ball, to not do something silly, to not have a glitchy moment, I don't think they believe fully in him. I really don't. And that's why they made this run-heavy offense. Now, yes, Drew Petzing's offense was always kind of that old-school type of mentality on the offensive side of the ball, right? But there's a reason why when we are 3rd and 17 and 3rd and 15, it's usually run, or run, pass, or pass, run, because they don't believe in him to not turn over the ball. They would rather put the ball in the hands of the defense to make a stop, to give us another opportunity. I'm already convinced. I've already seen it. They allowed Jacoby Brissett 4 straight times at the end to throw the ball. They allowed Jacoby Brissett to throw the ball when it was 3rd and 17, 3rd and 15. They trust him a lot more than Kyler Murray. And that's telling. That's absolutely telling. And I don't care what they say. I'm to this point right now. I'm to this point that I don't really care what Jonathan Gannon has to say. I don't really care what Drew Petzing has to say. I'm at that point because I don't think they're even the future. I think that we might be talking about a world where we're going to be JG and Petzing list by the end of the year. Honestly. So whatever they say is lip service. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. Whatever. Facts. Bet. Awesome. Cool. It is what it is. I don't think they're going to be the future. Will they be giving another year? Maybe JG. Will JG be given another year to get his guy? Maybe. There's a slight possibility. If there's a scapegoat, it's probably going to be Petzing that gets the axe over JG. But, I mean, if you do something like that and the Cardinals are somewhere in the top 10 in terms of draft picks, yeah, you do the right thing and probably clean house. Jonathan Gannon had multiple opportunities to make a change. This front office had multiple opportunities to go after a quarterback they deemed fit, right? And they didn't do it. For 6 straight years, this organization has coddled Kyler Murray, has babied Kyler Murray, and has not brought in a quarterback that's going to fight toe-to-toe with him and actually have a quarterback competition until Jacoby Brissett came into this locker room. For 6 straight years, we've given the keys to this organization to Kyler Murray for him to not do anything and get better. I'm sorry. I'm still seeing 2019 Kyler Murray. I'm still seeing 2020 Kyler Murray. The mistakes that he has back then is the exact same mistakes I'm seeing now. Hasn't learned. Did you hear what Michael Wilson had to say about Jacoby Brissett? And I know people are going to discredit him because, he's not even a number 2 wide receiver. Mike, why are we taking anything he says serious? Well, these are the guys in the locker room. These are the guys that you're going to battle with, right? Michael Wilson, after this game, praised everything he can think of under the sun that Jacoby Brissett has done for this organization/team in 1 week with preparation. 1 week of preparation. He's never thrown the ball to the number 1s and number 2s in practice. Ever. All season long. He might have had it a little bit in preseason, in training camp. He might have had a little bit in training camp, but no, it's been the Kyler Murray show. And I get it. You're paying him $45+ million. He is the face of the franchise right now. He is. And I'm not going to come out here and say Kyler Murray or Jacoby's better than Kyler. But I mean, sometimes you got to admit, sometimes a quarterback might be better for a system than a guy that doesn't want to do everything he needs to do to make a system actually flourish. Will Kyler Murray have success elsewhere? Maybe. He might. He just might. If you pair him up with somebody like Kevin O'Connell, if you pair him up with the guy that actually uses his skill set, his assets, yeah, potentially. Potentially. And here's the thing. Kyler Murray can be a really great leader if things go well. God forbid when things go bad, I don't expect Kyler Murray to try to motivate anybody because he's always sulking in the corner. Always sulking in the corner. So, quarterback controversy, question mark? Well, as of right now, all we know as fans is what we've seen with our eyes, right? We know what we've seen with our eyes. I've already seen enough. I know this offense can work as long as the quarterback can stay in the pocket and be willing to take the hits. So here's the next conversation for you guys. Here's the next conversation. And I will get to the comments. I promise. Do me a huge favor. Smack the like button here on your way in, by the way. We got over 100 of you guys here on the YouTube side. Smack the like button. Subscribe. We're on the road to 19K. Can't do it without you guys, so subscribe it up. Here's the next question. Should the Arizona Cardinals trade Kyler? Should the Arizona Cardinals trade Kyler Murray? Now, we got one game left. We got the bye week, and then we got a game on Monday Night Football. So technically, we have 2 games left, a bye week between it. After Monday Night Football is the trade deadline. What do the Arizona Cardinals do with Kyler? Well, here's a couple different things that the Arizona Cardinals can do. A, you keep Kyler into 2026, but still with the mindset that you're going after your franchise quarterback or your new quarterback to, I'm not going to say learn from Kyler, because I'm going to be right. I don't really want anybody to learn from Kyler. I'm going to be real with you. I'm sorry, and that's probably messed up to say, but I really don't want any young kid to see Kyler Murray and say, I want to be like you. I'm sorry. But if the Cardinals do decide to roll with them in 2026, the understanding should be you need to go after a quarterback in the draft. You have to. Absolutely have to. If the Cardinals don't go after a quarterback in the draft, then I don't understand where the direction of this franchise is going, if I'm going to be real with you. We already know that Kyler Murray will not win you a Super Bowl. And I will plant my flag on that. He will not win you a Super Bowl in the Cardinals. Can he win it somewhere else? Well, sure. I'll give you that. Kyler Murray stands. He can win it somewhere else. Sure, take that. He will not win a Super Bowl here. He's reached the ceiling. He will not win a Super Bowl with the Arizona Cardinals. Whether it's Drew, whether it's just the scheme, he will not win a Super Bowl here. The Cardinals need to start looking for the future. They need to start looking at a QB in this draft to potentially take the helm from Kyler moving forward. Now, the question mark, should they trade him? If the Cardinals were smart, they would. Now, I don't think the Cardinals have done really anything smart before, so I'm going to come out here and say they probably won't. But the most value you're probably going to get on a guy that has losing probably some value might be at the trade deadline. He's still a big name out there. The big, I guess, thing that might go against Cardinals is the fact that he's got such a big cap hit and his contract is pretty inflated, right? It's a big contract. So if the Cardinals don't do it in the trade deadline, you got to keep in mind that in the offseason, if they do, value loses it, right? Or unless there's some sort of team out there that really loves him and is willing to give you the king's ransom for him, then cool. But he's not the future. I'm sorry, he's not the future. He really isn't. I've seen enough with one game, and I hope we see Jacoby Brissett in 2 games, and I hope we do see the Cardinals throw the ball down the field, another 300-yard game. If we lose, we lose. At this point, what is it? I mean, what are we fighting for? We're 2-4. We're 0-2 in the division. It's what it is, right? It's what it is. Can the Cardinals crawl back? They can. I mean, yeah, they can crawl back. But what we know from this organization, usually that doesn't happen. Good things don't happen to us, usually. So, should they trade QB1, right? Quote unquote QB1. Should they trade him? Well, that's going to be the decision of Monty. That's going to be the decision of this Arizona Cardinals organization front office. It's going to be their decision. What do they want to do? You can still potentially get some good draft capital back if the Cardinals decide to do it at the trade deadline. Now, of course, if the Cardinals are sellers, then you're waving the white flag. You're waving the white flag. We're done for the season. We're not going to be competing in the NFC West. We're done. Or you go in the direction, like I mentioned before. You roll with him. He comes back healthy, and we see what he does. Maybe he does get some sort of fire lit up under him because he sees Jacoby Brissett doing it, and he's like, oh, I want to do that too. Okay, maybe he does. You never know. But still, to me, 2026, I think it's time. You got to pull the trigger. You cannot allow and go into another season consistently doing the same thing over and over again. And that is allowing your QB1 no pressure and feeling like he is going to be the guy moving forward. The Cardinals need to do something. They absolutely do. Now, next question. Should they ride out with Jacoby? Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at it. I wouldn't be mad if the Cardinals ride out with Jacoby. What are we going to get? 3 wins, 4 wins with under him? Maybe, right? We've said this before. Jacoby Brissett is not the long-term future. He's not. He's a bridge quarterback that you got into 2026. That is who Jacoby Brissett is. But I'm going to be real with you. If there was a rookie coming in to the NFL to learn from and how to be a pro and how to be a locker room guy and not sulk in the corner, I would rather them learn from him. Because Michael Wilson, Trey McBride, has nothing but glowing remarks about getting your weapons the ball and getting them involved. It's very telling to hear Michael Wilson come out and say the things that he said about the things he said about Jacoby. The things he said about Jacoby after one game is absolutely the truth. And if you don't know what he said, let me refresh your memory. Here we go. Here's Michael Wilson.
Command and presence in terms of commanding the offense. He's just really fun to play with, and like I said, like he never gets too high, too low, and you could really tell he's 30-something, 34, but you could feel like when he was back there, everything was going to be calm and he was going to be poised and make the right decision and get us going.
When he's in the huddle.
I'm not going to play the whole thing, but pretty much it's just clamoring about how poised and how even keel he is. How much of a leader he is. When things go wrong, he doesn't get too high. He doesn't get too low. He's even keeled. And that's what you need as a quarterback. And on top of that, you need a big guy. You need a big 6'4" guy in the pocket, stay in the pocket, get hit. At least that's what this system entails. Kyler's not willing to do that. We've already seen it. He's not willing to do it. And that's just unfortunate because I do want him to succeed. I just don't think he's going to be able to succeed under this offense. But also, I'm not willing to see a third different offense with Kyler. I'm not willing to see it because guess what? I'm not willing to wait a year for a guy that's getting paid $45 million in order for him to get his footwork down. I'm not willing to see that again. If you're getting paid top quarterback money, you got to start producing year one. And guess what? When we saw him in the first year when he was hurt, but started those eight games with Drew Petzing, he finished off that season 3 wins and lost 5 times. But we all told ourselves, oh, it's his footwork, Mike. It's his footwork. That's what it is. It's a different offense. I'm not willing to go through another year to talk about his footwork. You're getting paid a lot of money to perform. Year 2, 6'4", great start, leading the top of the division. End of the year, 2-5. Now, 2-4. Now, yes, the last game isn't his fault. He didn't play. But I'm not willing to sit another year with another head coach or another OC and complain about different system. And that's why he's not looking as good as he is. Hear me well. For the people out there that are saying, oh, Kyler Murray never threw the ball 44 times, Mike. There is a reason why Jacoby Brissett had 320 yards. Kyler never threw the ball 40 times. Now, Drew Petzing wants to open up the playbook. That's the reason. Kyler Murray threw the ball 41 times in the Seattle Seahawks game. 41 times. You know how much that amounted to? 200 whopping yards. 200 yards. Guess why? Check down, check down, check down, check down. That's a $45+ million quarterback checking down because he's not allowing the plays to develop. Let's take it to the comments. Let's go with Javier in the chat. We got Javier saying Gannon should be fired. Well, right now, we're 2-4. We got over 10 games left. Can the Cardinals come back? Mathematically, we can. So I don't foresee him get fired now. I will give kudos to the Tennessee Titans for pulling the plug. Good for them. Absolutely good for them. But I don't see Gannon getting fired now. Maybe after the bye week. Maybe. Or maybe after the Cowboys game. Maybe. Right? But let's remember, Cliff Kingsbury also was not doing really good in that fourth year, and the Cardinals waited till the end of the year in order for him to get let go. Let's keep it going. Joey in the chat says, check down because he can't see the field. Miguel says, let him play next week. And I'm assuming you're talking about Jacoby. It sounds like Jacoby most likely will get the start. It's not confirmed. I'm just speaking in speculations because of what the report from Ian Rappaport said, that he might miss more than 1 week. But I could be wrong. Maybe this lights the fire under Kyler, and Kyler's like, oh man, I'm hearing the noise out there. Jacoby Brissett coming off the bench with 1 week to prepare, and he got Zay Jones involved, Michael Wilson involved, Greg Dortch a touchdown. I got to go back out there. I'm going to lose this job. Maybe. I don't know. You never know what happens. Maybe he will start versus the Packers. But the small sample size that we've seen in week 6 versus the Colts, this offense can work. Let's keep it going. Let's go with Lorenzo. It says, I don't think Gannon's getting fired in the season. The Bidwills never fire in season. There you go. That's fair. And that's another thing to point out. 100%. 100%. So if it does happen, most likely at the end of the year, I don't know about Drew, but maybe the head coach. Joel in the chat says, there's only been 11 teams since 2000 to make the playoffs, starting at 2-4. Yikes. Is that real? I mean, I don't know if... I'm not saying the Cardinals should tank because I hate the tanking mentality. I really do. But this might be one of the most pivotal, and we say this every single offseason, so I take this with a grain of salt. This might be one of the most pivotal off seasons for the Arizona Cardinals. One of the most pivotal, ladies and gentlemen, for the Arizona Cardinals. Because you got a chance here to change your franchise. And we're seeing it. And those people out there that really want to put fear in people, I've seen it. Even before this, I don't see those people anymore. But before the Colts game, people are like, I'm looking at all these quarterbacks, and there's nobody better than Kyler Murray, guys. Like, we probably most likely should be running with Kyler in 2026. Because there's nobody better in college. A, that's a loser mentality. B, why don't you want to swing and at least take a risk and potentially bringing in somebody that can actually work the system better or a new system better in year one? And then C, lost my train of thought. And then C, so what? Loser mentality, new quarterback. Oh, yeah. We're seeing quarterbacks young in their career perform. Drake May is playing out of his mind right now. Jaden Daniels took a little bit of a regression from his rookie year. True. CJ Stroud seems to kind of be a little bit of a decline, but he's still a franchise quarterback, or at least he's won playoff games. So they seem to be kind of in on him and Texans. Maybe that changes this year. Who knows, right? But we're seeing young guys come out in year one, Jackson Dart, and perform to the level that they're performing, right? Now, is that sustainable? That's the question out there, right? But the Cardinals, if there's any success for a Super Bowl, you might have to get it on a guy that has a rookie deal, a quarterback that has a rookie deal, that you're paying him next to nothing. Kyler Murray is getting paid $45+ million to be that X factor, to be that deciding factor, to win those close games. That's what Kyler Murray is playing or getting paid that big time money for. And guess what? We had the same result from a guy that's getting paid $8-9 million a year. So why don't we allocate the money that we're paying to Kyler and actually make this team much better? Move those funds around, because as of right now, Kyler Murray had the opportunity to win 3 of those close games, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. The one I'm really harping on him on is the Titans game. I'll give you the division games, although his division record is abysmal. I'll give you I'll give you those division games. It was highly unacceptable to lose. And no, it's not all his fault. No, it's not. But still, you get paid that much money, you got to be the X factor. P. Jizzy, what's up, man? Appreciate the $5 super chat, man. Thank you so very much. He said, salute, Mike. Your cards kill, but I forgive them. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so very much for the super chat. Absolutely appreciate it. I apologize. Wait, killed my parlay. Oh, yeah. So you're saying that the Cardinals didn't do well for you. I apologize. You never know, man. You never know what's going to happen with this organization. This offense is so unpredictable. Did I think this offense was going to look better under Jacoby? No, I didn't. But I was in for the ride, though. I was 110% in for the ride. And honestly, it didn't disappoint me. Would I have rather take the win? Of course I would have, right? Of course I'd rather take the win. But it didn't happen that way. But I appreciate the super chat, P. Jizzy. Thank you so very much. Fellow Seahawk fan. Fan of the NFC West Roundtable every Tuesday, 6 p.m. AZ time. Make sure you check it out. Let's continue with the chat. Dylan in the chat says, how is it his fault at all? Bro, that was a fluke loss I never seen in my life. Yeah, you're right. It was a fluke loss. You're 100% correct. It was a very big fluke loss. But as a quarterback that's getting paid that amount of money, you're expected to win those type of games, or at least one of those 3 games. 49ers, Seahawks, Titans. And he didn't do it. Any of them. And there was opportunities for the offense to do something. So I'm not going to come out here and say that there was no opportunities. There was opportunities, and I mean, we had the ball, and we couldn't do anything with the ball. We had like negative yards in a couple drives, and we had to punt it back to the Titans. All those things that ended up happening to the Cardinals was a unfortunate circumstance, a series of unfortunate events that happened to the Cardinals. But could they still have won? There was plenty of drives for the Cardinals offense to get their SHIT together, and they just couldn't. El Tali, what's up, man? Appreciate you. What's going on, Mike? Met you after. Thank you, man. Appreciate you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Appreciate the $1.99 donation. It was great meeting you. Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, this is kind of where I am right now with this franchise, if I'm going to be real with you. The expectations from this team was supposed to be so much better. So much better. And you're right. 3-3 is what the Cardinals probably should have been, is a hell of a lot better than where we are at right now. At 2-4. I don't know if the Cardinals are going to be able to claw their way out of this one. I really don't. Mathematically, we seem to be fine. I don't know if they're going to be. The Packers are a good team. The Cowboys are a really good throw the ball down the field, points type of team. If Kyler Murray comes back on Monday night, he usually does do good in Jerry World. That's one thing I will hang my hat on. He does usually do good in Cowboys land. But is that going to happen again? I mean, that was the big question. Joel in the chat says we should be 5-1. 3-3 at the bare minimum we should be. At least be. 3-3 at the bare minimum. We're here right now, which is very, very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. Let me give some love on over to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube, the guys that are keeping the lights on. That's going to be none other than Sleeper. The NFL season is here, which means you now have a chance to 100 times your cash on daily fantasy football. Pick on stats for stars like touchdowns, passing yards, receiving yards, fantasy points, and more for up to 100 times the payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right, and you can win big. Use promo code AZSF, and you can get up to $100 deposit match on your first initial deposit. Terms and conditions apply. Everything will be in the description below of the video. And another thing right now, if you do use promo code AZSF upon downloading the app, they will give you a free $20 entry. Just like that, just free $20. Use my promo code and no deposit needed. Just go ahead and use the app. It's simple as that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for Sleeper for sponsoring the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. Let's keep the conversation going. Yes, in the chat says Gannon and Kyler needs to go. Mike Vrabel for head coach. Mike Vrabel's already a head coach for the for the Patriots. Vrabel's already the head coach for the Patriots right now. So we missed out on that one. Missed out on that one. Let's go with Hebe. Hebe in the chat says, this so far should have been the easy part of the schedule. It should have been. Yeah, absolutely. 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 This should have been the easier part of the schedule, for sure. 480 Nacho. Damn. Yeah, K1 folds way too much under pressure. I mean, we saw it in this game. If this doesn't tell you that all you need is a quarterback that's willing to take the hit and stay in the pocket, I don't know what will. I don't know what will. Jacoby Brissett is not a better quarterback than Kyler. But for this system and what he's willing to do, he just might be better for the system. Now, maybe the Cardinals learn from this, right? Maybe the Cardinals learn from this somehow. And they're like, oh, maybe we can throw the ball down the field. Maybe that is the light bulb that starts flicking. Who knows? We're going to have to kind of wait and see when Kyler Murray does come back because, as we know, Jonathan Gannon put his flag down. Kyler is the starting quarterback when he's healthy. Jonathan Gannon already said that. Do I believe in it? Do I think that's the right decision? It's not my choice. It's not my choice. It's JG's choice. He thinks it. So it is what it is. Money Mitch. Would you trade Kyler and picks for Stroud? No. I want to start new. I want to get the opportunity for this front office to get a quarterback under the rookie deal so we can actually build around that quarterback instead of having a quarterback getting paid $45+ million to take 19% of your cap and not really being that deciding factor. I want a rookie that we can get for 5 years. Now it's more realistically 3 or 4 years now. Like nobody waits to that 5 years, especially if you're a first round pick. I want a rookie that's going to have very, very cheapness of his contract that we can actually build around him. Believe it or not, I actually do think that we have a good team. Defensively, we have a very, very good team. Offensively, of course, I would rather have James and Trey Benson, of course. But we're still pretty good offensively. We're probably a player or two away from being that great. And maybe another offensive line piece from being very, very good. And you can address that with money. You can address that on the draft. So I wouldn't personally. And it's nothing to do with Stroud. It's because it has more to do with I want to start over with a guy that has a cheaper deal for a gooder amount of a bigger period of time. Zay Tuck, Ty Simpson to the card. Yeesh. That or Mendoza. I did like Drew Aller before this college season started. I really did like Drew Aller. He didn't have a very good start to the season, and unfortunately now he's hurt. So there's some intriguing quarterbacks. And there's another one for you as well. And I got to thank my guy Jesse from Last Second Sports for putting me on him, because I never would have thought to look his direction. But my guy Jesse from Last Second Sports, when we were at that NFC West roundtable event, he told me keep your eyes on quarterback from Oregon, Dante Moore. He said keep your eyes on him. He's like, I don't know if he's going to come out this year, but Dante Moore is definitely something you should be keeping your eyes on. Already over close to 1,400 yards. He's got like 1,396 yards, 15 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Quarterback out of Oregon. He said, keep your eyes on him. He's 6'3", 206. Say, keep your eyes on him, he said. So there are some intriguing quarterbacks. There really is. There's some intriguing quarterbacks. Don't let anybody fool you. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh man, you really want to go back to the Ryan Lindley days or the John Skelton days or the Derek Anderson days. Don't let anybody of those guys fool you. What they are not telling you is all those guys were fourth rounders, fifth rounders, undrafted guys. None of those guys were highly talented, coveted quarterbacks coming out of the draft. Ain't none of those guys were that. So don't let anybody fool you to say, do you want to go back to those days? Now, is there an opportunity to whiff? Of course, there is. There's an opportunity to whiff whenever you go after a quarterback. Mitch Trubisky, Josh Rosen, right? You see quarterbacks that don't do well. You see it all the time. So is there a risk at it? Of course, there's a risk. But you ain't going to get no reward. Or, as the great once Bruce Arians used to say, no risk and no biscuit. No risk and no biscuit. Right? So you need to really figure out what type of quarterback you're looking for. Is it a guy that's going to be able to stay in the pocket? Is it a guy that's going to be able to scramble? What are you looking for? Who's going to be coming into this team to make this offense go? Because like I said, I don't know if this coaching staff is going to last into 2026, if I'm going to be real with you. I don't know if they're going to. They might. But I don't know if they're going to. But there's some intriguing quarterbacks. Don't let anybody lie to you. Zay Talk in the chat says, we still don't know WTF, what's going on with the first round? Nope. Still don't know. The only thing that we know is that last week they ended up seeing Walter Nolan in practice, not practicing, but with his teammates. He was not practicing. He was like in regular street clothes, right? He was in street clothes. He was dabbing up Calais Campbell. He seemed to be in good spirits. Now, when Bilal Nichols ended up coming back off the 20 or the 21-day window, he was good to go the following week after the 21-day was opened up. Maybe that happened similar to Walter. I don't know. But as of right now, yes, it's very unfortunate. We're going to week 7 and we still don't know what's happening with our first round pick. It's not all good. It's not okay. Wayman in the chat says, how is Kyler a cancer? This fan base is crazy. Y'all criticize his play, but come on. Well, maybe you're talking to somebody in the chat. I don't think I've ever said Kyler is a cancer personally, not myself. Maybe somebody in the chat ended up saying that, but yeah, I mean, criticizing the play is definitely something that I've done for a very, very long time, right? Even when he came back in year 1 with Drew Petzing. Yes, I ended up saying fix the footwork, but there was still some criticism that I had on Kyler that I need him to be better at. And unfortunately, now we're sitting in 2 years later, and now we're stuck in this situation. It's not good, man. It's not good at all. Arizona Sports Show, what's up? They're still playing Cliff's contract through 2027 and gave Gannon 5 years. That's fair. That's another thing you also got to keep your eye on as well. That's another fair point. Another very fair point. Maybe they do give Gannon another opportunity. Maybe they let go, as like I said earlier, Petzing because being the scapegoat. Maybe that does happen. We don't know. We don't know how it's going to shake out. What we do know is the Tennessee Titans, they had some big cojones because for doing this, right? He's already just year 2. They didn't care. Year 2. They don't care. He's 4-19. Get rid of him. And that's what they did. So I will give one thing to the Tennessee Titans for making a move like that. It ain't easy to do it. It ain't easy to do it. Let's go with Gabriel in the chat. What's up, Gabriel? He has so many great wide receivers, to name a few: Fitzgerald, Hopkins, Green, and Harrison Jr. I would put Harrison Jr. I wouldn't put Harrison Jr. in the great column quite yet. I do love Harrison Jr. I think he's going to be there at one point. Right now, I do think he's a very good, solid wide receiver right now. It's just, unfortunately, he got hurt again. No risk it, no biscuit. 100%. No risk it, no biscuit. Isaiah in the chats says, Nolan's going to come in and do absolutely nothing. He hasn't even practiced. Well, we're going to have to kind of wait and see, unfortunately. We're going to have to kind of wait and see. What I'm trying to say is that you cannot keep K1 and bring in another head coach. I agree. You're putting that head coach in a very, very tough position. You're putting that new head coach in a very tough position, especially if they don't want Kyler. I'm going to be real. I think Jonathan Gannon was stuck with Kyler. You can hear Jonathan Gannon all you want, praise and talk all these great glowing remarks. I think he was stuck with Kyler. If the Cardinals ended up bringing in Sean Payton, like a lot of us wanted us to do, right? We wanted to remember the Sean Payton watch, all those things that we used to do, the Sean Payton watch. I am fully convinced that if Sean Payton was hired here, he would not tolerate Kyler Murray being in this organization. He would do what he did to Russell. And the Broncos took a big hit financially from that. But they gave him full autonomy. I'm truly convinced if he was signed here, which he wouldn't have been, we don't have Wally World money. We're not as rich as the Walmart people are. But I think that would have been one of the first moves. If not after his first year, he probably would have got rid of Kyler. He wasn't stuck. He could have gone to another team. Well, I mean, if you're going to get a head coaching job, that salary, you know what that does for your family? Do you know what that does for your family? The security of what that can bring, right? And maybe he did believe that Kyler Murray was him, right? Maybe he did believe that he could fix Kyler or he can do something with Kyler. Maybe he did truly believe it, but he was stuck with him. And what I mean by that is financially, the contract that the Cardinals ended up providing to him was not something that Bidwell was willing to swallow. So in terms, he was stuck. He was stuck with them. Could he have drafted a quarterback and had Kyler Murray ride the bench? He could have. Could they brought in Jacoby Brissett sooner and had Kyler ride the bench? He could have. They didn't, but they could have. Because when you're paying the guy that much, you're the franchise. Lorenzo in the chat says, I'm sick of Monty's first round draft picks. Monty trashing for it. To be real with you, I apologize for at least being ahead of that whole let Monty cook thing. That's on me. I was really so darn happy. I was so damn happy that we got rid of Keim that I think I would have taken anybody at this point. I was so happy to get rid of Keim that I would have taken anybody. So, of course, year one, I kind of got behind the whole let Monty cook. Some might say I started it, but I'm not going to go out there and say that. But the whole let Monty cook thing, that stopped from me a while ago. That stopped from Monty a while ago. I think this year has been one of Monty's best free agent classes. I think his draft picks have been solid, but you're right, man. Those first round picks, they need a hit. And Darius is very unknown right now. Walter Nolan, another injury on the defensive lineman. We don't know what's going to be from him. So I'm not saying he's going to get fired or he should get fired, but there should be some sort of blame to him as well. Howard M in the chat. I think Broncos traded for Sean Payton because he was under contract with the Saints. Yeah, he was under contract, so there was picks that was sent on over to the Saints, but also keep in mind, Payton was looking for a big-time extension, and he got that. He got that big-time money with the Broncos. Sean Payton right now is getting paid $5 million. Sorry, $5 million. I apologize. Sean Payton right now is on a 5-year deal, approximately $90 million. 5-year deal, approximately $90 million. And then on top of that, they got draft picks. The Saints got draft picks. So Cardinals weren't going to do that. I think we have Jonathan Gannon at like a $3 or $5 million deal, somewhere around that realm. That's kibbles compared to what Sean Payton got with the Broncos, right? So it took a very, very powerful, money-wise team to do something like that, and they did it. They pulled the trigger. We don't have Wally World money. Sean Payton had got a 5-year extension after he was traded to the Broncos, and they gave him a 5-year, $90 million contract. Yeah, we ain't going to do that. We were not going to do that. Kyler to Miami. They have Tua. They're in a situation with Tua right now that they don't even know how to get themselves out of. They don't know how to get themselves out of the whole Tua situation. They ain't paying 2 quarterbacks that top-tier money. It just ain't going to happen. And I ain't bringing Tua here, so don't even say bring Tua here. I'm not bringing Tua here at all. So Now we're here. Big question mark is the Arizona Cardinals going to pull the trigger and fire their head coach in Jonathan Gannon? Well, right now, like I said before, there's so much time left that technically the Cardinals can take themselves out of this hole. Will they? Well, that's going to be a question to answer later, right? So with that note, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. We will be closing up shop right here. Another shout out here to the sponsors of the AZ Sports Fan here on YouTube. That's going to be none other than Sleeper, the real MVPs. Appreciate y'all keeping the lights on. Everybody who's smacked the like button. Everybody that's super chatted. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You guys are all absolutely amazing. I appreciate everybody. Again, make sure you subscribe. We're on the road to 19K. Can't do it without you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Cardinals. Work with me, you know that I got it. Come with me, let's take